So today we are going to do our topic 4.3 enzyme inhibitor. In our last topic, we studied about the protein synthesis, how protein is synthesized, and little bit things of enzymes also. We did this part, that is it. It was how the enzymes working and the factors affecting enzyme activity. That also we did as a 4.2, we did factors affecting enzyme activity. Now we are going to discuss about enzyme inhibitor. Okay, now what do you mean by the word inhibitor? Enzyme or the biocatalyst, we have already learned. Now what do you mean by inhibitor? Can you explain this inhibitor? What do you mean by inhibitor? Simple word. Any idea?
No.
Hmm?
No, I don't know.
Inhibitors are those which delay any process, which inhibits it, which are like a, you can say, negative part. Okay.
Okay.
So inhibitors are those which play a negative part. Got it?
Yeah.
So if I combine the word enzyme inhibitor, what do you mean by that thing?
Things that delay like enzymes.
Enzyme activity.
Reactions. Yeah.
Okay. So things, or the, you can say, substances which are delaying or inhibiting the enzymes. Okay, which
Yeah.
slow down, or you can say which prevents the good activity of the enzyme. Got it? For
Yeah.
example, a very common thing is whenever we we are eating food. So most of us or most of our elders tell us that not to drink water during eating of food, because if you drink water whenever you are eating food, it inhibits digestion. Clear?
Yeah.
So inhibitors are those substances. It may be a substance, it may be a compound, it may be anything that prevents, that slowdowns, or that which you can say, which inhibits a chemical reaction or any chemical process. Clear?
Yeah.
And enzyme inhibitors are those which inhibits the activity of enzyme. So in this chapter, we are talking about those substances which slows down the process of enzyme activity. Fine. So first of all, we just remember, we have to just quickly revise what were the factors which are responsible for the good activity of enzyme. Now, as you have seen, it is important that cellular conditions such as pH value, temperature are kept within a very narrow limit so that the enzyme activity is not delayed. We have studied in our last topic that pH and temperature should be kept in a very short range so that the enzyme activity will be maximum, or you can say the efficiency of enzyme will be maximum. Now, this ensures that reaction can happen at a fast enough rate to sustain living process. For example, respiration, which means that our reaction can happen by maintaining that pH value and by maintaining the temperature range, ensures that the rate of reaction will be fast enough to sustain a living process. For example, respiration. Now, respiration process is doing at a very fast range, at a rate of very fast rate, which you can say it's occurring at a very fast rate. Otherwise, we will not be able to survive. Okay. Now, it is also important that reactions do not happen too fast, as this could lead to the buildup of excess product. And in a similar time, we have to maintain the pace of the reaction also. Now, suppose our food, suppose if it digested very easily or very quickly, so we need to eat lot of more food, which will make you hungry, which will make you feel hungry very often, very quickly. So that whatever the activities in our body is going on, they should be done at a certain rate. They should be not that too quick. They should not be that too delayed. Fine. The
Yeah.
living processes rarely involve just one reaction, but are a complex multi-step reaction pathways. And these pathways need to be closely regulated to meet the living organism without wasting resources. Now, as we all know that our human body, we are a multi-organism you can say, but we are a multi-organism. Okay, we have so many organs, and these organs should work in a sequential manner. Okay, I'm just giving you example. It's just like okay, suppose if you want to go to from London, if you want to go to India, you have done two flights, one from London to Dubai and then Dubai to India. Okay, now if suppose your flight is you have a transit flight or you have to change flight in Dubai. So if you have to change flight in Dubai, so there should be a gap between your Dubai flight and the India flight. From London to Dubai and from Dubai to India, there should be a gap. If that gap is not there, if your flight is delayed, so it will automatically delay your whole process. In a similar manner, each and every activity inside our body is interlinked, and that should be closely regulated to meet our needs. If it is not closely regulated, then all the things will be in chaos and we will suffer with so many of disease, or we will face so many problems inside our body that we used to have to do, like cholesterol problem, diabetes problem. All these things are the activities, or these are the, you can say, signs of something going bad in our body. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay. So in order to maintain that sequence, that each and every reaction should be or must be done in the prescribed time. If it is late or early than the prescribed time, then it will create a chaos in our body. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, Ji. Now, control of metabolic activities within the cell. How these metabolic activities are controlled in the cell? The different steps in a reaction pathway are controlled by different enzymes. Now, controlling the activity of enzymes at crucial points in these pathways regulates the rate and the quantity of product information. Now, there are different reaction pathways which are controlled by different enzymes. Each and every enzyme, we have understood that enzymes are specific in nature. It means for a one process, there are specific type of enzymes. So for different reaction pathways, we have different enzymes, and controlling the activity of enzyme at a crucial point in these pathways regulates the rate and quantity of product formation. Now, whatever the product these enzymes are giving us, and whatever the rate at which they are giving us, that need to be controlled at some crucial point. If it is not controlled, then again chaos will be there. And these crucial points, the rate of product formation and the quantity of product formation, is controlled by enzyme inhibitor. So enzyme can be activated with cofactors. Okay, we will study about cofactors in our next topic, and they are inactivated with the help of inhibitors. Now, suppose we need to slow down the process. So if we need to slow down the process, we need a inhibitor. Clear?
Yeah.
Fine. So that is why we need. Okay, so in this chapter, we are going to study about this inhibitor only. Now, inhibitors are the molecules that prevents enzyme from carrying out their normal function of catalysis, or they slows down them. There are two types of inhibitors, competitive and non-competitive. Is that point clear?
Yeah.
So sometimes it is very necessary to control the activity of the enzyme, and the activity of the enzyme can be controlled by two things, that is the cofactor and the inhibitor. Cofactors are used, cofactors, coenzymes, and prosthetic groups. They are used to initiate the enzyme activity, and inhibitors are used to inactivate, or you can say, slow down the process of slow down the rate of the metabolic activity. And this inhibitor is of two types, competitive and non-competitive. Clear?
Yeah.
Now it is typically, from the name, it has been clear. Competitive. Competitive means there is a competition. Competition means that there is a race between two, 1 and 2. Fine. Now
Yeah.
suppose if you want to slow down someone, what you will do? Suppose you have to start from a point A to point B. You and your sister or someone else is running. You want to slow down your sister. So how you can slow it down? By reaching there to that place first. If you reach that
Yeah.
place early, it means you slows down your sister. Here it means there is a competition. There is a race competition between you and your sister. Here.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, if you see, this is an enzyme, and this is the enzyme site at which the substrate are going to attached, and the product will be formed. That is, the enzyme substrate complex will be formed. Now, inhibitor does what? Inhibitor competes with that place, and it, instead of substrate, inhibitor combines to that particular site and forms an enzyme inhibitor substrate. And forms an enzyme inhibitor complex, and the substrate will not be able to combine with it, and hence you will not get the enzyme substrate product. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
We can say that competitive inhibitor interferes the active site of enzyme so that substrate cannot bind, and hence the product is controlled, or you can say the rate of reaction is controlled. Got it clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now we will read this. Now, competitive inhibitor works in the following way. Now, a molecule or a part of molecule that has a similar shape to the substrate of an enzyme can fit into the active site of the enzyme. This is the active site of the enzyme, this one, fine?
Yeah.
Now, if you see the shape of the substrate, like this shape and this shape of the substrate shape and that of the inhibitor is almost similar. Now, instead of substrate, you can see the substrate is taking some time to reach to the enzyme. Now, before this inhibitor reached to the active site. Fine. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, as the inhibitor reaches to the active site, this blocks the substrate from entering the active site and preventing the enzyme from catalyzing the reaction. Now substrate will not enter. If substrate is not entering, means that the catalysis, or you can say the reaction will not be there, that you will not get any substrate enzyme product, or complex substrate enzyme complex will not form. The enzyme cannot carry out its function, and hence it is inhibited. So enzyme will not give any product, and hence you can say that the working of enzyme will be inhibited, or it will slows down. Clear? The non-substrate molecule that binds to the active site is a type of an inhibitor. Now, this is the type of an inhibitor. Now, substrate and the inhibitor molecule prevent in a solution. I'm again repeating, substrate and inhibitor molecules present in a solution will compete to each other to the bind to the active site. So we can say that substrate and inhibitor are competing with each other to bind to the active site of the enzyme and catalyzing the reaction. This will reduce the number of substrate molecules binding to the active site and in a given time, and hence slows down the rate of reaction. For this reason, such inhibitors are known as competitive inhibitors, and the degree of inhibition will depend upon the relative concentration of substrate, inhibitor, and enzyme. Now, if the enzyme inhibitor are more, then the enzyme activity will be delayed. Otherwise, it will not be delayed. Is that clear? Got it?
Yeah.
The competitive inhibitor is clear?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, now most competitive inhibitor only binds temporarily to the active site of the enzyme. So their activity is reversible. So their effect is reversible. So after some time, they are removed. And however, there are some exception cases such as aspirin, which do not, you can say, reverse. This reaction is not reversible. It is a sort of a permanent one. That's why aspirin is not preferred as nowadays to cure pain. Okay. So this competitive inhibitor is clear. Now, effect on the rate of reaction. A competitive inhibitor reduces the rate of reaction for a concentration of substrate, but it does not change Vmax of the enzyme it inhibits. So it will not going to change the Vmax, means rate of reaction, velocity of reaction. If the substance concentration is increased enough that there will be no such more substrate, then inhibitor that the original Vmax can still be reached. Now I'm again repeating this line. It's important. Listen carefully. A competitive inhibitor reduces the rate of reaction for a given concentration of substrate, but it does not change the Vmax of the enzyme it inhibits. Clear?
Yeah.
So the rate of reaction, Vmax means rate of reaction, maximum rate of reaction is not going to be inhibited. Fine. Now, if the substrate concentration is increased enough, now the substrate concentration is a little bit more enough, then there will be more substrate than inhibitor. It means that in the particular concentration, there are more substrate and inhibitor concentration is less. That the original Vmax will be still reached. And in that case, whatever the original rate of reaction is there, it will be reached. Got it? Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Now, examples of competitive inhibition. Examples are statins. Statins are the competitive inhibitors for an enzyme used in the synthesis of cholesterol. Now, statins are the competitive inhibitor of an enzyme used in the synthesis of cholesterol. Now, statins are regularly prescribed to help people reduce blood cholesterol concentration. Now, high blood cholesterol level can result in a heart disease. So in controlling the cholesterol level, generally people use this as an enzyme inhibitor, statins. So it is like a competitive inhibitor. It will not allow the things to combine with blood so that it will create cholesterol. Okay?
Okay.
Aspirin irreversibly inhibits the active site of COX enzyme, COX enzyme. Now, aspirin irreversibly inhibits the activity of COX enzyme, preventing the synthesis of prostaglandins, the synthesis of prostaglandins, and thromboxane, the chemicals responsible for producing pain and fever. Now, aspirin is used to prevent pain and fever. Now, what it does? Instead of having a competitive one, it is a competitive one. It is irreversible. It inhibits the active site of the COX enzyme, preventing the synthesis of these two types of products, which causes pain and fever. Clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. So in this way, we have understood about the competitive inhibition, or you can say competitive inhibitor. Got it? Now
Yeah.
we will take care of now we will see about non-competitive inhibition. Now non-competitive means there is no competition between the substrate and the inhibitor. Non-competitive inhibition works in the following way. Now, the inhibitor binds to the enzyme at a location other than the active site, and this alternative site is known as allosteric site. Now, for example, suppose you and your sister are going to have a race from A to B. Fine? Got it? Now,
Yeah.
if whosoever reaches to A first will be the winner. From A to B, whosoever reaches to B first will be the winner now.
Yeah.
It means there is a race competition between you and your sister. Okay. But what you did, aapne kya kara, what you did, you ran and you ran up to this point and say that now race is finished, I am first.
Yeah.
Now it's up to your wish at any time you are finishing the race and making it as an end point. You know that you are not able to run up to that limit because you can run up to a certain, you can run up to a certain speed for a very short time. But if there is a long term is there, your sister will win. So you just ran for a short time and just say, okay, win. Finish. Race is finished. Clear?
Yeah.
Now what happens? This is your inhibitor, green portion, and this pink portion is your substrate. Now, and this is the active site. This is active site. Now, on this active, instead of getting to the active site, this non-competitive inhibitor attached to the enzyme at the allosteric site. Okay, alternative site, it is at the allosteric site. Now, as it attract to the, or you can say get attached to the allostatic site, what it happens? It changes the shape of this active site.
Wait, which one? Oh, this. Okay.
This inhibitor, okay.
It
This
changes the shape.
this inhibitor get attached to the enzyme at a site other than the active site, and this site is known as allosteric site. Okay.
Yeah.
And as it combines with the allosteric site, then what happens? The shape of the active site is changed. Okay.
Yeah.
Now,
Okay.
as the shape of the active site is changed, the substrate is not going to combine with the active site now because shape is changed. Clear?
Oh,
From this,
yeah.
it means that, again, suppose you and your mother is having, you and your mother are out, and you are having key, common key. Okay. But your mother changed the lock. If you reach first also, then you will not be able to open the lock. Why? Because you are not having the same key.
Oh, yeah.
Got it? It means that your active site shape is changed. If active site shape is changed, the substrate is not going to combine with the enzyme, and there will not be any enzyme substrate complex. Clear?
Yeah.
So in this way, this inhibitor is not in any competition with the substrate. It simply attached to a different site and changes the shape of the active site, which results in the active site no longer having complementary shape with the substrate, and so they were unable to bind, and hence the enzyme cannot carry out its function, and it is inhibited. Here,
Yeah.
as we can say that the inhibitor does not compete for the substance with the substance, so for the active site, so this is known as non-competitive inhibitor. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Got it? Any doubt?
No.
Clear, bachcha? Any doubt?
No, that's okay.
So we have two types of inhibitor, the competitive one and the non-competitive one. In the competitive one, there is a competition between the substrate and the inhibitor for the enzyme site. Whosoever is going to attach with the site, the inhibitor gets attached to the site first and hence inhibits the activity of enzyme. In the second one, the inhibitor combines with the enzyme at an allosteric site, and hence the shape of the active site is changed, and so the substrate will not be of that shape that it can combine with the enzyme and form any enzyme substrate complex. Clear?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Then effect on the rate of reaction. Now, increasing the concentration of enzyme or substrate will not overcome. Yep.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Okay. Now we will study about the effect on the rate of reaction. Now, as you increase the concentration of enzyme or substrate, this will not overcome the effect of a non-competitive inhibitor. Now, increasing the concentration of inhibitor, however, will decrease the rate of reaction further as more active sites become unavailable. Now, increasing the concentration of enzyme or substrate will not overcome the effect of non-competitive inhibitor. Why? Because inhibitor is not in the competition to attach to the active site. It is going to be attached anywhere and changing the shape. And once the shape is changed, then nothing will be done. Okay. So if you are increasing the concentration of enzyme or substrate, nothing will happen. So whatsoever you will do, it will decrease the rate of reaction because the active site is unavailable for binding. Is that clear?
Yeah.
Got it? आप घर में पहले पहुंचो या नहीं पहुंचो, जब मम्मी ने अगर ताला ही बदल दिया तो क्या कर लोगे आप? You can't do anything. आपको घर के बाहर बैठना ही पड़ेगा. You have to sit outside, ना? Got it? Clear?
Yeah.
So that is what this we are doing. आपके पास बेशक कितनी चाबी हो कोई फर्क नहीं पड़ता, बट मम्मा ने जब मेन डोर ही बंद कर दिया, उसका मेन डोर ही लॉक कर दिया और मम्मी ने उसका लॉक ही चेंज कर दिया, तो सब कुछ इज नाउ इन हर हैंड. Whatever she wants to, she will do. ठीक है. चलो,
Yeah.
now we will see example of irreversible non-competitive inhibitor. Now, as mentioned, the binding site of inhibitor may be reversible or non-reversible. Now, irreversible inhibitors cannot be removed from the part of the enzyme they are attached to. Now, this irreversible inhibitors get attached to the part and they are not going to be removed. You can't change it. So they are very toxic, but not as always. But not always they are. Sometimes they are toxic. Okay, like organophosphates used as insecticides and herbicides irreversibly inhibit the enzyme acetyl uh, choline synthetase. Okay, now there are some organophosphates which are used as an insecticide and herbicide, which are used to kill insects and used to kill herbs. Sometimes they are irreversibly inhibit the enzyme acetyl chlorinsterate, an enzyme necessary for the nerve impulse transmission. Okay, so they inhibit that particular enzyme, which can lead to the muscle cramps and paralysis and even death if accidentally indigested. So these type of enzyme will make insect paralyzed. Okay, and they will not be
Yeah.
able to do anything. Got it clear?
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, proton pump inhibitors, PPIs, are used to treat long-term indigestion. They reversibly block an enzyme system responsible for secretion hydrogen ion into the stomach. Now we have PP, proton pump inhibitor. Now, if somebody is having some indigestion problem, we can use this PPI. So this reversibly block the enzyme system responsible for secretion of hydrogen ion into the stomach. And this makes PPIs very effective in reducing the production of excess acid. If left untreated, can lead to the formation of stomach ulcer. Now, in stomach, if HCl is produced, it will cause the stomach ulcer. It may cause acidity, and then it may cause stomach ulcer. Now, which can be reduced by using the proton pump inhibitor, which inhibits the hydrogen ion production. Clear? Is that clear?
Okay. Yeah. Yeah.
Any doubt?
No. No.
No? Okay, now see this graph. The comparison of competitive and non-competitive inhibitor of an enzyme control reaction. Now, rate of reaction, that is velocity, with the substrate concentration. This red one is a fixed quantity of non-competitive inhibitor. Now, in case of non-competitive inhibitor, if you see this graph, the substrate concentration is increasing and the rate of reaction is also increasing. Fine?
Yeah.
This will increasing up to a certain level. But after this level, it is almost a straight line, but it is not a straight line. Vmax is remaining same, but a little bit of change is there. Fine? You can see in the case of absence of inhibitor, it is like this one. Vmax is reaching up to this point, but in the case of inhibitor, rate of change is reaching to that point, but it is delayed. It is slow. Clear?
Yeah.
So comparison of competitive and non-competitive inhibitor for a enzyme control action. With a competitive inhibitor, as the substrate concentration is increased, the effect inhibitor is almost overcome. The effect of inhibitor is almost overcome. With a non-competitive inhibitor, as the substrate concentration increases, the effect of the inhibitor is not overcome. It is still there. Got it?
Yeah.
Okay. Now we have end product inhibition. Now, end product inhibition is the term used for the enzyme inhibition that occurs when the product of a reaction acts as inhibitor to the enzyme that produces it. Now, end product inhibition is the term used for enzyme inhibition that occurs when product of a reaction acts as an inhibitor to the enzyme that produces it. Now, this serves as a negative feedback This serves as a negative feedback control mechanism for the reaction. Is that point clear? Okay, I will repeat it again. Now, there is a one more type, that is the end product inhibition. Is a term used for the enzyme inhibition that occurs when the product of a reaction acts as an inhibitor of the enzyme that produces it. Now, if suppose there is a reaction in which one product is formed and that product is acting as an inhibitor. Clear?
Oh, okay, yeah.
Okay. Suppose
Yeah.
A and B are reacting with each other and a product C is formed. Now, because of C, this A and B are not going to react anyway now. It means that this serves as a negative feedback control mechanism for the reaction. It means that as the product is produced, there will be no further reaction or the reaction is inhibited by the production of a product. Okay. The excess products are not made and resources are not wasted. It is an example of non-competitive reversible inhibition. Now, this is an example of non-competitive reversible inhibition. Any doubt up to this point?
No.
Okay. Now see, respiration is a metabolic pathway resulting in the production of ATP. ATP means adenine triphosphate. Now, glucose is broken down in a smaller step, in a number of steps. The first step involves the addition of two phosphate groups. This is the first step, the addition of two phosphate group to the glucose molecule. The addition of the second phosphate group, which results in the initial breakdown of the glucose molecule, is catalyzed by the enzyme. The enzyme name is PFK, that is phosphofructokinase, fructokinase. Okay, this enzyme is completely inhibited by ATP. Now, ATP is produced by this thing, and this ATP is inhibiting the working of this enzyme. Now, ATP therefore regulates its own production. In this way, we can say that the product is controlling its own production. If at any point of time, there are high amount of that particular product in that thing, then what it will do? It will check the formation of that particular compound by itself. Clear?
Yeah.
इसको ऐसे समझो, just think over like that. Suppose if you are, you can say, if you accidentally put your hand over a hot pan, so your hand will automatically be removed. Na? Your mind will get a, you can say, sort of a thing that it will automatically remove your hand. Yes or no? In the same way, in that case, whatever the product is forming, this product is checking its own production. So ATP therefore regulates its own production. Clear?
Yeah.
Now, when the levels of ATP are high, more ATP binds to allosteric site of PFK, and this is a non-competitive one. Now, what happens? Suppose this is enzyme. Okay. Wait, we'll draw it again.
Hello?
Suppose, yes, am I audible? This is enzyme. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. And now wait. How do I change a color? And this is your ATP molecule. Get attached to it. Fine. This is ATP. This is enzyme, and this is active site.
Yeah.
Clear?
Yeah.
Wait a second. Okay, so this is non-competitive inhibition. Now, as this ATP combines with this one, the shape of this shape is changed. Clear? The shape is changed. I'm not able to write there. Fine. So preventing the addition, is that clear?
Yeah, yeah.
So preventing the addition of a second phosphate group to the molecule, and the glucose is not broken down into ATP and ATP is not produced at the same rate. Fine. Now, as the ATP is used up, less bind to PFK and the enzyme is able to catalyze the addition of the second phosphate to the glucose and respiration resumes, leading to the production of more ATP. As the ATP is used up, less bind is there with the PFK and hence the enzyme is able to catalyze the addition of the second phosphate group to the glucose, and in this way you can say that respiration resumes and leading to the production of more amount of ATP. Is that clear?
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
this is all about the enzyme inhibition. Now you have these questions. Explain why non-competitive inhibitor does not need to have a similar shape as a substrate, because this non-competitive inhibitor is not going to bind with the active site. It binds at the allosteric site and changes the shape of the active site, and hence this non-competitive inhibitor does not need to be of the similar shape to that of the substrate molecule. Clear?
Yeah.
Now question number second is explain why increasing the concentration of substrate will never produce Vmax of the reaction after the addition of a non-competitive inhibitor, because the non-competitive inhibitor is somehow going to change the shape of the active site. So in that way, the concentration of the substrate is not going to increase, or it's not going to, you can say, produce the Vmax of the reaction. Clear? Third question is, the end product inhibitor is likely to be competitive rather than non-competitive. Suggest the reason for that and give example of the end product inhibition. You can give this example, respiration and glucose 1. This is a non-competitive inhibition program. Fine. Is that clear? Third one. Okay. Now fourth is ethylene glycol present in antifreeze is a poisonous when ingested. Now ethylene glycol is oxidized using the some enzymes used to oxidize alcohol. The product made during the breakdown of ethylene glycol rather than the ethylene glycol itself is responsible for the toxic effect. Now ethylene glycol is able to leave the body unchanged in urine. Suggest why ethanol is often used in emergency department as the antidote to antifreezing poisoning, because ethanol is going to have a competitive inhibition with the ethanol, with this ethylene glycol. That's why it is used as an antidote to antifreeze the poisoning part. You have to explain the whole thing like this. All 6 questions are clear? 4 questions are clear? Any doubt in this? Yes, Panya, am I audible? I think that is all for today.